Introduction to the Sony A7V, revolutionizing photography and videography. Introduction to the Sony A7V's relevance in 2025, a breakthrough in both photography and videography. Comparison with other high-end models, Canon EOS R5, Nikon Z9, etc., to establish Sony's competitive edge. Highlight the camera's unique selling points: advanced autofocus, superior low-light performance, high-resolution video, versatility. Sony A7V, the ultimate camera for professional photographers. Deep dive into the camera's sensor technology, explaining the full-frame sensor, increased dynamic range, and improved color science. Analysis of the autofocus system, real-time eye tracking, subject tracking, and speed of focusing, especially for moving subjects. Discuss the camera's autofocus performance in low light, making it ideal for night photography and indoor shoots. Sony A7V, a game-changer for videographers. Emphasize the high-resolution video capabilities of the A7V. 4K at 120 frames per second, 8K recording support, and its 10-bit depth color grading features. The video stabilization system that enables smooth footage even without a tripod. Real-world examples of how videographers use the A7V in commercial, independent, and cinematic projects. Discuss Sony A7V vlog potential. Best settings for vloggers and YouTubers using it as a primary camera. Low-light photography. How the Sony A7V redefines night shoots. Detailed explanation of how the camera performs in dimly lit settings with its high ISO sensitivity and noise reduction algorithms. Real-life use cases for wedding photographers, event shooters, and wildlife photographers who require excellent low-light performance. Testimonials and comparisons with earlier models like the Sony A7R4 demonstrating improvements. Sony A7V features for creators and professionals. Versatility in lens support. Sony G Master lenses, third-party lens compatibility. User-friendly interface and customizable settings for faster control during shoots. A closer look at real-time eye autofocus for wildlife, portraits, and action shots. Pro-level features, XLR audio inputs, raw video outputs, 10-bit 4:2:2 support, etc., perfect for professional filmmakers. Sony A7V for content creators. Instagram, YouTube, and social media. Optimizing the A7V for creating content. Best settings for YouTube videos, portrait photography for Instagram, and behind-the-scenes setups. Focus on how creators can leverage Sony's imaging software and external gear to enhance their workflow. How the camera aids in live streaming and content capture for platforms like Twitch, Instagram, and TikTok. Ergonomics and build quality of the Sony A7V. A section dedicated to the design, build quality, and how it feels in hand during long shoots. Weather sealing and durability. How the A7V holds up in extreme conditions like rain, dust, and snow. Review of the LCD touchscreen, viewfinder, and button layout, ensuring ease of use for both professionals and enthusiasts. The future of photography with the Sony A7V. Innovative AI-driven features like automatic scene recognition and smart autofocus adjustments that set the A7V apart from the competition. Mention future updates via firmware, anticipating new features or improved performance over time. How Sony continues to innovate with AI in imaging, pushing boundaries for photographers and filmmakers alike. Sony A7V in action, real-world photography scenarios. Showcasing the camera's power in various real-world scenarios. Sports, nature photography, portraiture, wedding photography, and documentary filming. Discuss how photographers can adapt the settings for different conditions like backlit situations, motion blur, or extreme focal lengths. User experience and testimonials. Testimonials from professionals who have integrated the A7V into their gear setup, such as portrait photographers, wedding shooters, or documentary filmmakers. Reviews from top YouTube influencers and photographers who discuss their experience with the A7V. Compare user feedback across different use cases. This will not only highlight the versatility, but also show the reliability of the camera. Comparing the Sony A7V with competitors. Canon EOS R5 versus Sony A7V. Detailed comparison in terms of autofocus, video features, and sensor size. Nikon Z9 versus Sony A7V. Strengths and weaknesses in terms of performance, design, and overall value. Include industry-standard benchmarks that help rank the Sony A7V in the high-end camera market. Tips and tricks for maximizing the Sony A7V. Best practices for photographers to get the most out of their A7V, including setting custom buttons, changing ISO limits, and optimizing battery life. A guide to using the Sony A7V for time-lapse photography, astrophotography, and other specialized niches. Editing tips and tricks for getting the best results from the A7V's raw image files. Conclusion. Is the Sony A7V the camera of the future? Summarize how the Sony A7V sets a new standard in the camera industry.